1.5 generation Korean American, so I came here with my parents from Korea, but they were both educated in the United States, so they were English speaking, and I was basically raised in San Francisco. So I love the area. I live in the East Bay with my husband and 2 children. I am deeply interested in issues of social justice, specifically related to race, ethnicity, and class. And I think that the program itself has been transformational, not just for students, but for myself and for other colleagues who teach. I think that we are just beginning, and that I'm excited to be part of the program. My main area is really in supporting the research ideas and research designs of students and faculty. I've written a textbook on the subject, but my topical area really varies depending on what I'm interested in. So it gives me a great deal of liberty and latitude, which I find exciting because I would not want to be locked into one area in particular. So I find my role in the department, in the program, to be very, very exciting because it's always changing. And what the students bring as topics of interest inform my research and helps me stay current. So I really feel an enormous pressure to keep up as far as being an active member of the faculty in the program, just because I know that the students that are in the program are making huge changes and differences in their work. So modeling best practice and so on is a really important part of what I do in the program. Absolutely, I think the one commonality is many students are interested in social justice, which is which has been a main theme strand of the program, as well as the campus. San Francisco State is a minority serving institution, and many years, decades of being actively devoted to community-based research, improving equal opportunity for children and adults. But my main area is really in answering research questions using a very pragmatic stance. I mean, I think that nobody wants their findings to wind up on a dusty bookshelf. They want research findings to matter, to make a difference. So I'm really interested in practitioner-based research, ways to identify and solve in a very systematic way problems that arise from practice. Most of the research that's done here is not really to shape or affect policy. It's really to, well, I guess arguably they could do both, but to really improve practice. So the 3-paper format, which leads to publication, the consultancy model that leads to really pragmatic findings and results that can help a school district, for example, these are alternatives to a 5-chapter dissertation, I think, that really could lead to sustained change on the ground. But I think that's the purpose of the program, is to develop educational leaders who are comfortable not just in leading, but in identifying systematic ways to try to address problems that continue to plague us. And the major one that is a big part of the program is getting at the achievement gap. And I think everyone knows that it continues to be the major problem that we as educators face, but it's not one that we can solve overnight. I mean, it's been 60 years since the Brown decision, and still there's a great deal of inequality that's palpable in schools, and those kinds of inequalities are tied to race and ethnicity and to class. But the issue of race continues to be one that I think as a nation we struggle to talk about in a candid way. I think we're sort of still in kind of a national denial about it, and so the program is wonderful at continuing to look at issues of social justice, and the areas that matter the most to me are race and ethnicity. And most of the students that I work with are keenly interested in looking at ways to ameliorate problems that deal specifically with race and not being insecure or ashamed about talking about it in those terms. I feel I've had my own professional career altered as a result of being part of the program, both as an instructor, as an advisor, and also just having colleagues in the program that I've worked with. And one person in particular, she and I have been working collaboratively for the past 6 years on a project that has looked at doctoral teaching, doctoral pedagogy, and ways to better support adult learners who are in accelerated, very intense accelerated programs like the EDD. Most of our students, I think, are capable of individualized, sort of self-actualized learning, but it's difficult because some of the students come with varying ideas of what to expect in the program. So even though most of them come from community college settings or pre-K through 12 settings, as learners they come with different expectations, and that can be challenging for instructors in the program. I started off in public schools and then completed most of my education in independent schools in the city. And then I went to Berkeley for my undergrad, and I got my PhD at Harvard. So it was, I've had tremendous experience in public and private educational institutions, both K through 12 and higher ed. And I've seen many, many different types of instructional styles. Some of my classes, rather than have the entire 4-hour period devoted to group instruction or small group, I meet individually with the students, sometimes back to back for 20, 25 minutes. And they receive individualized, constructive feedback on their work. The purpose of the program is not to create academics, future academics and researchers. It's really to create transformational leaders.